Greetings, everyone! I'm the delicious and mythical Griffin Muffin, and I'm here to talk about my return to WoW so far. You might have seen my previous video when I was talking about coming back to WoW after 11 years. And guess what? I did. So I thought I'd make a video about the journey so far. First off, I gotta say, guys and gals, is retail WoW is not that bad. Yes, it is different, but different in some good ways, in my opinion, at least for me. It was a real struggle to not let nostalgia overtake my analysis of this first part of the game, and the overall game design. But so far, I really am liking the ease of the game so far. I'm liking how leveling is not as punishing as it was in vanilla. And some say, oh, it was punishing because, you know, there was real challenge and reward. Sometimes there was unnecessary amounts of punishment in leveling during vanilla. You know, you would have to backtrack a lot, you have to travel from place to place just from like, oh, pick up this, you know? And that means you have to run through a whole scene of mobs to get to the other guy again, to the quest giver or whatever. And because mobs are a little bit easier, that's not as painful as it used to be. I mean, it really was so fun just to hop back into WoW after all those years. I remember my wife was with me at the time. I logged in for the first time and I was just like, I'm going straight to Northrend. Went straight to Northrend. I had trouble finding the boat, and I got there and I was just like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm finally here. Because I missed out on Wrath of the Lich King because I was studying at the time. I'm pretty sure that would have been when I went back as a mature age student. So it was really important that I didn't get distracted, but I was there, I was now in Northrend, you know, I was leveling, and it's been really fun and a little bit cathartic as well, because I'm finally resolving that time I missed. And it's really great to dive into all the lore and all the quests. The quests are everywhere, man. There's just quests abundance. You like turn a corner, it's like, hey, a quest giver, hello there. It might just be Northrend itself that's giving a lot of these really good quest lines and stuff, but overall I'm happy with the questing experience so far. And the world itself is still as amazing and rich to explore. I just love seeing the places that are mentioned in Warcraft 3, all the stuff that's mentioned in all the lore and whatnot. I have noticed some features such as class design that I don't like. This is regarding stuff like missing abilities, the talent system it is really simplified. And the overall class identity of a paladin is really off now. It's I would say it's broken, because it is there, like, a little bit, but it's just not what I expect when I play a paladin. Not just in WoW, but in any RPG. There are some things I do like, such as the holy power function, but I noticed it only exists in Retribution and not holy, like the holy spec. I was a bit confused by that. I'm like, why just put in holy and just make it a bit interesting, you know? You know, the holy power, holy spending stuff makes combat a bit more action-packed as compared to vanilla, when it was very much, wait for the auto attack. Oh, you proc Seal of Command, well done, you win, you know? The funny thing is, my opinion on what I think about WoW now is, it's changed a lot over the course of me playing from, you know, 60 to 60, I think I capped 69 just before I started recording this video. It's changed a lot. I've written like 6 different scripts across the course, because it's like, oh man, I really hated this, I would grumble, but then like a week later I'd be like, you know, there's a reason why they did that. One thing I've got to say is the questing in this, I've mentioned how it was abundant, but it's way more fun now than it used to be. And the stories involved are actually a bit more emotionally, well, they're not more, but I actually do get emotionally invested in some of the characters sometimes, which is awesome. So one thing I did notice was the lack of social interaction, and this isn't really I don't think this is a factor of the game itself, although there are minute factors that would go into it. But I think it's more or less because we're winding down from an expansion, more people are logging off, they've already done the Untaurus raid and all that sort of stuff. I would join a few guilds. I've joined like 5 guilds since I've started, and all of them just do not talk. They did not socialize whatsoever. I'd be like, hey guys, good evening, and everything, it'll just be like tumbleweeds and ghostly sounds just echoing. It was kind of boring. I mean, it's a social game. It's a multiplayer game. People should talk. I have found a guild that's really good. They're the Companions. They're really friendly. They've been putting up with a lot of my inane questions and all my like, I can't get to this place because it's above high on a platform. Can someone fly me there? Hey, how do I queue for a dungeon? Hey, do you know where I can find this particular item? Hey, can I get the transmog for the Judgment set? And you know, they've been really helping me out with all my, with me starting up again in WoW, so I really want to extend my thanks to them publicly. And they are recruiting, and they are a growing guild. So if you feel like joining, they are on Frostmourne, and the guild leader is, his battle tag, sorry, is down below. Yeah, I gotta say in summation that the more automated, hassle-free game design that I've experienced so far, for someone like me with only a few hours a week to game, is really, really good. Like, I actually have a fun time every time I play. I mean, I remember when I hopped onto Nestarius, I played it for, yeah, you know, up until it closed down. I remembered why vanilla was so time consuming, and to hop into retail WoW, I was like, wow, this is like really rewarding for just like an hour worth of gameplay. I can actually have some fun, so. Alright, so I've talked about all the good stuff, guys and gals, but I want to talk about what's disappointed me so far. Unfortunately, the section is a bit bigger. There is no nuance or combined strategy or synergy or anything like that when you're fighting. I mean, there's the judgment thing where you whack them and you have X amount of time to hit them with holy damage, but that's it. It feels kind of lazy, in my opinion, in terms of what you can do in fighting as a paladin, in Retribution, I mean. A lot of the abilities are just whack it for X damage until your main ability recharges, and just, I mean, it's a bit more action-packed and stuff, but overall it's very rinse and repeat, and nothing changes between fights. Honestly, I miss the seals, I miss the blessings and the auras, but why can't they just been left to be abilities? Why have they been removed for what can be considered to be simplicity's sake? People who complain too much of how we had too many abilities. I mean, I can see why they reduced the amount of abilities, because if you make a certain class in an RPG more friendly for casual gamers, it means more people will play it. I just think it should have been reworked a bit more. It shouldn't have just been like, let's make it really simple so that everyone can play this certain character. I don't know, I'm not a game designer, so I can't really suggest more. All I do know is I play the class and I'm like, man, I feel really underpowered. I feel like this is my skill set and I'm just in a niche or a cul-de-sac, so to speak. The major case I want to bring up for this to actually exemplify what I mean by this is the removal of Divine Intervention, or DI. Now, if you don't know, in vanilla, through up to Walk, the paladin would sacrifice himself and make a target completely immune, removing them from combat and rendering them unable to move or act. You can see how this ability might help in raids and groups. It was removed and made into a talent, but the talent is what I call selfish. Paladins are about selflessness. They're the ones that come to everyone's aid, and like they're the ones that save the day and be like, I'll save you and make sure that everyone's alive and everything like that. It just empowered you to, as this player, to save the day, and your group didn't wipe as a result of this ability, but it was removed. And I don't know, it just disappointed me a lot that I don't have that ability now in raids and groups. But I've only done one dungeon so far and I didn't need it, so maybe it was removed because no one was using it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Is something like this still needed in raids nowadays, or is it just something that is an ability that never got used? I think this is also another point I wanted to bring up with the class design so far, is that every level that you got in vanilla World of Warcraft meant something, because you got a talent point, because you got a new level in one of your spells. Every level in retail WoW so far kind of is not that magical. It's just like another step towards getting towards that 15 level milestone, so you can get a new talent, or every 5 levels so you can get a new spell. I do get why stuff like levels for spells were removed, because it did kind of cut the flow of gameplay a bit, because you had to go back, buy new spells, then go back to leveling. I can get that. I can get why they got rid of it, but I think they should have paid attention to the fact that each level should be what I could only call magical. Like, really like, fuck yeah, I've leveled, you know, I've got a little something I can do now, you know? A little reward, like a good reward. Speaking of like, you know, talent systems and stuff. The talent system is very simplified, and although I try to consider other people's opinions that this may streamline and ease casual players into WoW, I can't shake how this might water down the overall RPG experience. You should own your character. Your character should be your pride and be like, I built this character, you know, you worked hard to make it the way it was. In old vanilla, the talent system, yeah, it wasn't that great. It did have its flaws. However, the old system created a lot of theory crafting, while nowadays it just seems a lot of talents, some are just a blatant choice over others. There's no discussion of like, well, if I'm this build, I do this, you know, if I'm this, it's just like, you get that ability, the others are trash. Why do we even discuss this? Now, this is the bit of the doozy of what I wanted to talk about. The specialization system does make the transition from raiding to PvP, or leveling for example, easier, but for me it feels very restrictive. Sometimes I want to have holy spells while I'm leveling, like have a better heal or that's better than flash of light. I get the reasoning, so you can fit a given role. The experience of an RPG shouldn't be dictated by what role you want to fill, but what you want to do with your class and what you affiliate with it. Other words, your class identity is traded for specialization identity. I mean, I hate locked spells. I went a paladin because paladins are associated with being a solid support, but able to hold your own like a combat medic of sorts. For example, in vanilla, I built my character to focus on like a really heavy mana pool. I had 8k mana pool on a paladin. I was holy, obviously, which meant I was rarely out of mana, which helped both in raiding and PvP, because I actually ran around in PvP as holy and would like support the team and stuff, and it felt awesome to do that. However, in this version, I don't know if I could do that. Maybe I could. I haven't hopped into any PvP yet, but I like to see if I actually get that same reward I did back in the day. So it seems to be that in the paradox of trying to prevent hybrid builds, they've put class identity into essentially a three-way cul-de-sac. It feels very restrictive in my opinion. However guys, that's just criticisms. It's just critique and just saying what I don't like. Well, it's not even don't like, it's just disappointing me a little bit. I'm still playing it and all that sort of stuff. So, because you know, at the end of the day, I'm still having fun. I'm still logging in, I'm still playing, and I still have an overall fun experience. Maybe it is just nostalgia. Maybe it is just I'm getting used to the game that WoW has become. I mean, I'm only level 69 and by the time of making this video, and perhaps my overall experience of playing WoW will change significantly when I get an artifact weapon or start questing in Suramar, which I've heard is a very mixed experience. And to be honest, I'm leveling a toon so I can get ready for BFA. Stuff like the Battlefronts is amazing. I think that will be the thing that will draw a lot of my attention. I think if they're going to do more changes like the graphical update that they're doing and changing the models and all that sort of stuff, there should be more changes to the current world of Azeroth. Of course, in Cataclysm, it's been said amongst developers that they bit off more than they can chew. They thought they could really change the world and introduce new things into it, but it was just too much. I think they should focus on, say, making the capital cities of each faction a bit more interesting to revisit. I've heard in the live Q&As that there will be some effort to restore class identity, which is a very interesting thing and what is keeping me playing. One tidbit would be removal of abilities that would be otherwise class specific. Like they mentioned how Mage will now be the only class that will have a blink spell, for example. I did some more research and this whole removal of abilities and giving abilities to classes that didn't have certain things started in Mists. And it seems that developers remedied this with the choice of artifact weapons in Legion. So instead of giving changes to the class itself, they gave you an external source of character building, which is a good design choice. I mean, class redesigns are very risky, but this solves the issue with minimal interference. Also, abilities granted by artifact weapons are moving into talents, which I'm really happy for. I know Wake of the Ashes is moving in there, and I saw some footage of that and it looks fucking sick, so yeah, I'm happy for that. But I just hope that they make the talent system a bit more interesting, you know? Like just choosing from one of 3 abilities every 15 levels, that's kind of lame. But I'm hoping that the same talent tree system from the artifact weapons is transferred over to Azerite armor, and we see a similar system there. I think this expansion is heading in the right direction, both in game design and story. So I like where the game story is heading. You know, we're heading back to the overall Horde versus Alliance conflict. And I'm not against the old god stuff and all that. It's just, I'm a bit sick of hearing about, you know, the big bads and stuff. I want to get back to the main characters. I want to get back to what's happening there and stuff. Final thoughts are, yeah, so far this game is pretty fun. It is a really big change from vanilla. There's a lot more ease of reward in the game design. It's working well for me with my lifestyle. I mean, as I may have mentioned, I have a infant in the house, work a full-time job, and having this sort of ease when I'm playing rather than, you know, grinding and grinding and grinding just to get maybe, I don't know, 2 bars worth of XP for a quest, it really helps. And I don't have a comparison to, you know, before 7.3.5. Maybe before this update, I probably would have been playing and being like, oh, this is a complete breeze and everything, and would have had no challenge whatsoever. But yeah, I'm sticking with it. I'm gonna level all the way up to 110, hopefully in time for BFA. I'll give you some updates along the way, you know? I'll let you know what if my opinion changes and stuff, you know? And it is a really interesting experience to come back to WoW after so long. This game for me back in the day, and roughly 12 years ago now, it really was a different time in my life. And like Vanilla WoW gave me, it was such a vivid experience, you know. I think one of the main things though about World of Warcraft that I hope to discover again is just that rich community, you know. People say that the community's died and stuff. The guild I am in right now, I don't feel that. Yeah, I'm really pumped for this game. I'm really pumped for the expansion. I'm really pumped for the rest of my journey. So I hope you guys come back and have a listen. Hey, just wanted to mention quickly to you, yes you, the one and most likely in a chair, that the Legacy of Darkness Guild on Sourfang are holding a leveling race across the Easter long weekend from March 30th to April 2nd. They will be raising awareness of the Royal Children's Hospital Foundation in Melbourne, which you can donate to by following the link in the description below. The race will be streamed via Twitch, and the links to those channels can be found on their guild website, link also in the description below. I just thought this was a great way for the Oceanic WoW community to come together and support a charity, so yeah, I sincerely hope you can make it. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that lovely stuff down below. If you're new here, be sure to check out my previous video, but also check out my chapter recaps for the Witcher books. If you want to help out the channel, be sure to support me on Patreon. Follow the link in the description below. Also, I'm pretty active on Twitter, @GriffinMuffin89. That's all from me. Be sure to share this video with your mates, and I'll see you later.